Hello, Asia professionals, and welcome back again to this Google Analytics course 2023, which covers everything from basics to advanced, right? So, as you may know, this is a walkthrough to the Google Analytics new dashboard or the GA4 dashboard, right? So far we have covered lots of things in this course. So, if you are watching me for the first time, you should go back to the to start from the scratch in this playlist, which is called Google Analytics course. So anyway, in today's tutorial we are going to cover some like technical aspects. In other words, I am going to show you how you can set up the events and conversions within your Google Analytics, right? So before we get started, I have one request, and that is, please make sure to subscribe the channel and like this tutorial and share this tutorial with your peers and friends or whoever you think may need this kind of the content. So let's get started without further ado. All right, guys. So as you can see in the previous tutorial, we have covered lots of things like the life cycle, the reports, right? So the advertising, the exploration, I also taught you how you can set up and how you can create customized reporting in this Google Analytics new property. But today we are going to cover the configuration area of the Google Analytics. This is the area where you can actually set up the events and conversions, right? So let's go to the configuration tab to see what we can find out over there. All right, so there is a warning. It says configure settings has moved to the admin section, right? So further it says events, conversions, audiences, custom definition, and debug with are now under properties settings in the admin dashboard, right? So all of these settings used to be there, but now Google has moved all these things to the admin section. But there is nothing to worry for you. We simply need to go to the admin section where we can find out all these kind of settings, and you can change anything you want. So as you can see, we are under the property of my agency. Now, like I said, in this tutorial I am going to show you how you can set up the events and then the conversions. But one thing you should keep in mind here is that in the Google Analytics, it is important for you to have set up the events first, and then you can convert those events into conversions. So which means if you have not any events, you will not be able to mark them conversions. So the first thing here is that to you have to set up the events first. But first, let's see what kind of the events Google has already set up by default. All right, so these are basically all the events that Google has set up by default whenever I created this new property specifically for this Google Analytics course, right? So as you can see, there are lots of events. So for example, the collect chat complete, collect chat start, and first visit, then form started, form submitted, page view, right? Scroll, session start, video start, and so on, right? So now there is one thing you have to keep in mind is that you want to create custom events. For example, you want to track the events on a specific URL. So for example, in my case, I just want to track how many visitors are visiting the free resources page on my website. By default, Google will also show me, but I also want to track how many people also or really download the resources that we offer at our agency, right? So as you can see, this is the resource page of our website, and you can see we offer some free resources to our audiences. Now, for it to be properly, till the time, let's come to the same area. Okay, so these are the events, right, which have been configured by Google by default. Then it shows you the count number, then the percentage of changes which occur over the time. Then it shows the users and then the change in the users. And in the last column, you can see it says mark as conversions. So like I said, it is important for you to have events first, and then you will be able to mark them conversions. So for example, if I want to convert any of these events into conversions, I simply need to switch on this button. So for example, I want to mark the video start as a conversion. Okay, so I am simply clicking on this button, and now this event is going to be counted as a conversion as well. Okay, okay, so the page takes a little bit longer, but anyway, let's wait for it. So as you can see, this is the page on our website on which we have listed some free resources from our SEO agency to our audiences, right? Now, I want to track users, how many people actually download this ebook, okay? So just to cut the long story short, for example, uh, just for example, okay, say for a while that this page is a thank you page for us, okay? So which means whoever lands on this page is going to be our thank you page, okay? So what I'm going to do is to simply copy the part of this thank you page, part of the URL of this thank you page, and then go back to the analytics section. So now I want to create a new event, okay? Let's click on this blue button, which will allow us to create a custom event. Now I'm going to click on the create blue button. Okay, now this is the page where you can configure all the things. So for example, first of all, I would like to provide it a name. So for example, in our case, it is going to be a lead. Okay, so I am going to select the generate lead, right? So then under the parameters, you will need to select uh, what kind of the parameters you can provide, or what kind of the parameters do you want Google to take for you for this event to be counted as an event. Okay, so there are lots of things. What I usually do is simply select the page location. Okay, so this is the page location. I have selected the location. Then there are some operators, for example, equals to, equals, ignore, does not equal, right? So I usually select contains, and then I provide the page location. Okay, so so whenever users land on this page, which serve as a thank you page for, in my case, this event is going to be counted by Google. Okay, so that's it. But if you have some additional condition as well, you can add them over here. But at the moment, I do not have any, conditions. So this is pretty simple. And once you have provided all these things, simply click on create, right? So that's it. We have set up a custom event. Okay. Now, after some time, this event will start appearing over here. I mean, whenever or as soon as Google start collecting data on this page. Now I am going to refresh this page a few times, and then let's go to the real time view to see if Google is counting this visit as an event or not. Okay. So the event that we have just set up under the admin section will start appearing under the event count by event name once our thank you page has multiple strikes. I mean, whenever lots of people start visiting this thank you page and Google has you know some kind of data that that is needed for the stats that been shown on this page, then this event will start appearing over here. Okay, so at the moment, as you can see, the views by page title, as you can see, there are two views at the moment. Now these two views will be counted as two events under the event uh, tab or in this card. Okay, so this is how we can simply set up any kind of the event. So for example, in our case, it was like I said, it should serve as a dummy page, and the dummy page is going to be a thank you page for us. Okay, otherwise this is not a real thank you page, but I just wanted to show you how you can set up the event using the URL of your thank you page on your website. But if you are selling something like if you have any commerce store, or if you have some things on your website to sell, I mean, if the real transaction happens on your website, then you don't need to set up any purchase events custom. But Google by default set up all the the purchase events for you, and then it will mark the purchase event as a conversion as well. So there you go. Like I said, this is the event that we have just set up, right? And it has generated this event as a lead. Okay, so now as you can see, the generate lead has been counted 4 times, which means we have got 4 events, right? And you can see it shows the data under the real-time data. Okay, so in the next tutorial we are going to